Gravity just disappeared. Even if it's only for 7 seconds, that might be all it takes. In my last video, we basically all but debunked the August 12th no gravity theory, but the problem still remains that we don't fully understand gravity.
You start asking what it is? I don't know.
So instead of us arguing if it's even possible, let's ask a better question. What if it does happen? You're sitting at your kitchen table, coffee in hand, normal morning, then suddenly you feel it. That drop in your stomach like the first fall on a roller coaster, except this time, it doesn't stop. Gravity just disappeared. Inside your house, everything changes instantly. Nothing explodes, but anything not bolted down starts to drift. Not shooting to the ceiling, just lifting. And the moment you react, even slightly, you're floating too.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Oh, we got a Israeli Black Ops truck driving by. Don't worry, I'm just doing a no gravity video, y'all. Relax. Now, I know some of you were super excited about this part. The floating, I mean. Just a quick survival tip. Stay away from ceiling fans. Without gravity, there's nothing pulling you back down. Every small movement sends you drifting in a different direction. Water leaves cups, sinks stop working, anything loose becomes part of a slow-moving mess. And within seconds, your house isn't destroyed, it's just completely unlivable. But your house lifting off the foundation? Probably not. It's still anchored in almost all cases. If it's not anchored, let's step outside now. At this point, you might be thinking, would I even be able to breathe? We'll get to that. But first, what if you're driving when this happens? Well, you lose traction instantly because your tires aren't being pushed into the road anymore. So when you turn the wheel, car doesn't grip, it drifts. Hit a bump or a pothole, now you're not just drifting, you're lifting. Unfortunately, the amount of potholes and bumps on our garbage roads in America aren't going to be doing us any favors. But hey, let's just keep giving our tax money away to whoever else wants it besides us, you know what I mean? Now take what I just explained and scale that up a little bit. 18-wheelers lose control almost immediately, also referred to as tractor trailers, depending on who you are and where you're from. And when gravity comes back, things get really bad, because all that weight comes crashing back down, and those trucks will start jackknifing, creating chaos. Let's talk about bridges. Bridges are built to flex, but not like this. With no gravity holding anything down, as we explained, the cars don't stay on the roads. And when gravity comes back, all of that comes down at once. Let's just say that's not going to be so good for the bridges. And tunnels are even worse. They rely on a thing called hydrostatic pressure to stay stable. Remove gravity and you risk complete structural failure. So if you're in a tunnel when this happens, it's a bad place to be. When gravity comes back, that sudden force of pressure, not gonna be good. But hey, at least America's tunnels and bridges have a really good structural integrity rating. All the tax money we pay, obviously, they're probably in good shape, I bet. I bet they're like some of the best in the world, if I had to guess. So like, they're probably okay, right? At this point, it's not just traffic anymore. We're talking about the larger infrastructure. That definitely includes the power grid. At first, when I was looking into this, I thought there was a chance the power grid might actually hold up and wouldn't be impacted by gravity. But yeah, no, that's not the case. I found out power plants rely on things like pressure, flow, and cooling systems, and gravity is part of those. So without it, most power generation fails fast, which means if this happens during the day, maybe it won't be so noticeable, but you will lose power. If it happens at night, lights out. No lights, no signals, no communication. Everything goes dark, and pretty quickly too. And even if the power grid doesn't shut down for some reason, there's a bigger problem, because everything that just floated up in the air, well, has to come back down.
Are you kidding me?
And the odds of those things not hitting any power lines, 0, I'd say. It's one of those things that makes you wonder, why are the power lines above ground for most of the country? Researching for this video made me realize our infrastructure kind of sucks. Government, what you doing with our tax money, bro? I think I know, but I can't say. I can sure see where it's not going. Let's just say that. There's another question people were asking quite a lot in the comments of the previous video, and that is, what about the nuclear power plants? The good news? Modern nuclear power plants are designed to shut down automatically. So in most cases, they'd SCRAM. That's an acronym, basically an emergency shutdown. But And yes, of course, there was going to be a but. They still rely on cooling systems, and those systems depend on power and fluid movement, both of which affected by gravity. So even if the reactor shuts down, you're still looking at potential overheating risks, all depending on how long we don't have gravity or power for. It's not instant nuclear explosions everywhere, but it's definitely not a situation we would want to test. And now we have to talk about the air. Fresh air. Because at this point, nothing else really matters if you can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the good news. The atmosphere doesn't just disappear completely like a lot of people suspect. It'll still be there, at least at first. Inertia helps keep things sort of compacted, but without gravity's assistance, it will start expanding outwardly, which means pressure drops and breathing gets harder. At lower altitude, you'd probably be okay for a short window, but at higher altitudes, that's a different story. Those areas essentially turn into super high altitude death zones, and fast. And if this were to last longer than, say, 7 seconds, then you got real problems. Speaking of the atmosphere, that leads us to airplanes. What happens with them, you might ask? They don't just fall out of the sky, but they weren't built for zero gravity either. Lift, control, and stability, all of that gets very unpredictable. So best case, severe turbulence. Worst case, a complete loss of control. Either way, not gonna be a great flight. Still probably won't be as bad as what you had to go through at the airport to get on the plane, but it's not gonna be fun either way. On a larger scale, globally, you're likely looking at ground instability, which means earthquakes. Lots of very big earthquakes. Volcanic systems being disrupted. And the oceans? Well, firstly, if you have a big enough earthquake, we know what that does. We've seen that play out in recent history already. But as far as what the water itself will do, think this from the movie Passengers, but on a large planetary scale. Ocean water would be lifting and shifting, and then when gravity comes back, pretty much we're gonna go from this scene in Passengers to, well, this. Deep impact, basically. So overall, if we lost gravity, no, this isn't an instant extinction event, but it's a chain reaction. Everything destabilizes and then it all comes crashing back down. Now, one thing a lot of people were asking is, could this be connected to a pole shift? Short answer, we don't know. Scientists agree that the poles can shift. What they don't agree on is how fast can that actually happen. There are theories out there that the poles can shift within as short as a 48-hour time frame. Could something like this trigger a pole shift? Maybe. Could it make an existing slow pole shift worse? Also, maybe. There's really no clear answer, unfortunately. But that whole topic, that's one of the most unsettling theories out there, in my opinion, and on my top 5 things that make me poo my pants list. Mostly because of how possible it is and what seems to be evidence that this has actually already happened before in the past and has potentially led to mass extinction events. It makes what we just went through now look like a rom-com, but that's a topic for another video. We'll get to that one. But for now, let's bring it back. So would we survive something like this? Honestly, if it's only a few seconds, there's a chance. It would be chaotic, dangerous, but survivable for a lot of people. Anything longer than 7 seconds, well, that's when things start to fall apart and fast, because it's not just one problem, it's literally everything. Your home, our infrastructure, the air, the oceans, volcanoes. I mean, the list goes on. So 7 seconds, it's all it would take to undo everything. That best case scenario, we're set back a few decades, but more likely we hit a global reset, probably back to before the Industrial Revolution, and we'd essentially be rebuilding from scratch. And unfortunately, not everyone makes it. Well, now that we got that uplifting, positive video out of the way, let me know what you think is the worst part of all of that. What part of it do you fear the most? And do you disagree with anything? Thank you for watching. We've got loads of content coming. Likely pole shift theory is going to be one of the videos in the near future. As always, stay safe, stay grounded. Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Holy bananas. Oh, shiza. I'll see y'all on the next video. If you made it this far, you are now legally required to hit subscribe. It's just the rules. I don't make them. It's just what it is. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, please. Thank you. Or I'm going to be knocking on your door. Okay? And none of us want that. I don't have time to go to all 500 or 5,000 or 20,000 of you that watch this video. It's going to take me a long time. I'm not going to be able to do all the other content I want to do. Legally, I'll be required to come to your door and ask you for your subscription. Subscribe. Please. So instead of us arguing if it's even possible, let's ask a better. Let's ask what it happens, especially at higher altitude, and breathing gets harder.